Await no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every week, every Thursday, a matter of fact, I, myself, Joseph, along with my best friend, Kyle, talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, Kyle, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Joe. Good to see you in 2019.
It's good to see you too, man.
Yeah.
You know, making it work. 2019, I think we're a day into it. I already don't like it. I don't like the change.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's weird. I hate writing 19 at the end of things. I just don't like it. It's the first couple of weeks. I don't like it. Not into it. Blessing, how are you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Nothing much, man. So welcome aboard. If you guys don't know, Blessing from OKBeast, the founder of OKBeast. You guys do amazing, great things. How about you give yourself a little bit of a shout out? Where are you from? Where can people find you?
So I am from OKBeast, but more importantly, you might know me from Kanye Tuda, which is a Kanye fan site. No, I'm playing. OKBeast, of course, is a website. We do similar things to what you guys do. We have podcasts talking about video games. We also make videos, have articles, all about games and the things that surround games, like nerd culture. And so, like, sometimes we'll talk about movies. We have a podcast about rap music. We have like Patreon exclusive content, an assortment of video essays that go up on YouTube. We just do a whole bunch of stuff that we enjoy. And that's pretty much us. There's five of us, and some of our friends also come on our shows. And so, it's just a gang of dudes. A gang of dudes. That sounds weird. Just a group of friends.
Yeah, you guys make awesome content. Like, your video essays are unlike anything on the internet. Yeah, I was just about to
say that.
Which is really awesome. You, man. It's not like this game was murdered type of stuff. It's actually like going into like just the sound and why sound is important in a video game.
Yeah,
like those things. It's like the little things people overlook, and you guys just you have these brilliant deep dives. So everybody,
thanks, dude.
No problem. Everybody, check OKBeast out on YouTube, on iTunes, all that stuff. Links down below and all that. With that though, we actually got a semi-new news week. And this is weird because for the past, I guess for the whole month of December, there hasn't been any news. We've been doing the Game of the Year stuff, what is it? The top 5 stuff in 2018 type of business. So with that, again, back into the track of things. Before we talk about Detroit, before we talk about Bloodborne 2, praise be to Shu, it's going to happen. Blessing, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, man. I didn't realize I was going to get asked this. I'm really excited because this week I've been playing a lot of Hitman 2.
Oh, really?
And I haven't gotten to talk about it yet. Yeah. I played the first Hitman, not the first Hitman, but the previous Hitman, the original reboot, the episodic one from Square. Not Square Enix, but IO when they were owned by Square Enix, and then they got let go and all that stuff. And I really enjoyed that one. But when Hitman 2 came out, I didn't get it because I was like, there's too many games. Like, I just got Red Dead Redemption 2. There was Pokemon. I was looking forward to Smash. And I was like, I'm just not going to have time to play any Hitman. And so I got, what happened was Black Friday, there was a sale. I think it was like $30 or something like that. And I was like, if I couple that with my Best Buy Gamers Club, that'll be like $24 or something like that.
You still have one of those?
Yeah, I still have it. It runs out this spring. And so when that happens, I'm going to be bummed. But yeah, it's still, mine is still going. But yeah, I got it with that, and delivered, and I haven't gotten around to playing it until this week. And I don't know what sparked it. I think I was listening to Giant Bomb's Game of the Year, I heard somebody talking about it.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, they loved Hitman, and they were talking about Hitman 2, and I was like, man, I guess I really did like the first Hitman. Like, I should probably at least boot this one up, see what it's about. Started playing it, and I didn't stop. I really enjoy that game.
How is it different from because the episodic nature of the last game? Right. Yeah. Do you feel like it's back to the old the old grounds type of deal? Like, do you like is it a new change?
It's weird because I do feel like this one, the new versions of Hitman feel like they're made to be episodic. Like the first one was literally episodic, and so and so it had that trickle effect of hey, we're gonna put out the first level, and then we're going to make you replay this first level over and over again because there's gonna be different objectives, different things you can do, different ways or different people to murder, different ways to solve this, solve how you're gonna do this. I actually came into that game after all the episodes had come out. And so, or after all the stages, I forget what they called them, but after all the levels were available, that's when I jumped in. And so like I'm actually having a similar experience with this one as I had with that one. The only difference is I feel like there was more, like I had more reason to go back in the levels in the first one, because it felt like the way they did it was like, hey, we're gonna release episode 1 and we are going to keep encourage the players to go back and replay it through whether it is like a leveling system or whether it is like, oh yeah, if you do this good in this level, we are going to let you unlock the ability to start at this place instead of this place, or you're going to be able to hide a gun in this part of this level. Yeah, like there are really cool modifiers they can add. Like you can like change what outfit you start off with and like be like, okay, you're gonna be disguised as a cook this time, or you're gonna be disguised as a waiter, you're gonna be disguised as a person.
Because you know, like my thing is, I bought this too on Black Friday, and they were just like the game was out of stock, but they're just like, don't worry, we'll give it to you at this price. Just don't worry about it. I got it like a few weeks ago. I haven't like I'm tempted to, but I'm still addicted to Fortnite.
Oh man, I know how that goes. That was me in July. I was addicted to Fortnite.
Yeah, so like I haven't.
With Joe though, blessing, it's been like a year and a half. it's nonstop.
Yeah, Robbie Miller just put a tally on the board, but like it's a game that I'm really looking forward to getting into, sinking my teeth into.
Yeah,
is there
and like
else,
I forgot I was going with that. Oh yeah. So Hitman 2, I was gonna say, I feel like it feels somewhat different as far as like the amount of content that's there for each level, but it still feels it feels good to play.
Okay.
Aside from that,
Sean Bean yet?
I'm not, and I think I don't think I can, because I think the way they did that's in Elusive Target. Yeah. And the way they did them in the first game was like they were limited availability, and so I think they'll be around for like a week. And I think it's the same thing this time around. I think they lengthened them a little bit, and so like they're around a little bit longer. But I think I got the game way after Sean Bean was available to kill, and so
that's
sadly,
a good way to hook people in to keep playing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Kill Sean Bean.
And like, the game is so deep as far as like stuff to do, or like different ways to play the same levels that like. They created such a good system, and it's very much a video game of like, I'm playing this not because I care about the story, not because like I'm invested in the characters. There is a story, there are characters. I don't really care about any of it. I don't know anybody that really cares about any of it. But it's just like
when
a video
I watched
game.
like Aquaman, I was just like, just show me sharks fighting each other or whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, like it's really, and I mean, even though I don't care about the story, the writing is still like pretty excellent during the missions, and that's like the thing I noticed this time around of like some of the writing for some of like there was one murder I did. There was one basically they have like what they call story missions, where essentially like there's multiple ways to go about killing a target, like the specified targets, but there are the ways that they kind of elevate to the top of like, hey, if you can like eavesdrop these people and then follow this person and then steal their outfit and then pose as this person's masseur or whatever, and then like get them in a private place and then kill them by using a certain thing.
Yeah, like you kill them with like this one guy like invites you to his place, and like there's like this automatic like targeting system, and you have to get him in front of the gun and then make it look like the machine malfunctioned and killed him. Like,
yeah,
that stuff's like interesting.
And the writing around that stuff is so good too, where it's like the it's the NPC writing. And so like there was one I did that wasn't even a story mission actually. There's a mission that takes place in like a suburban neighborhood.
You just did it for the thrill.
Yeah, where like I went and essentially there's this family who's like throwing a housewarming party at their house. And they're called the Wilsons or whatever. And like everybody from the neighborhood is like hanging out at their house doing like a barbecue in the back, all this stuff. And like there's a couple that's there and they're standing outside and like you can eavesdrop them, and they're like, man, this family's kind of weird, isn't it? Like all their house is like perfect. Like they didn't Miss Wilson say she worked for the government? How is she affording this? And so like they have that conversation, and then they end that conversation by saying, hey, let's explore the house. And so they start walking through the house, and they walk inside to the kitchen, and then they continue that conversation of like, yeah, look at these dishes, man. Like these dishes are so expensive. Or look at this, it looks so expensive. Then they walk in the living room, and this is like unrequired stuff. This has nothing to do with Target.
It's just expanding this.
Yeah,
the
it's
story
just like,
of these people. That's not.
yeah, it's just NPC dialogue, and they flesh it out so well. And like you follow these people through the house, and like they don't even like they don't acknowledge you. This is all just stuff that you're eavesdropping, and you can follow them. And like the NPCs are dumb, and so you can stand right in front of them, and they can have.
It's a lot better than some NPCs in games where you overhear their conversation and then walk away and come back, and it's the same.
It's the same conversation. Yeah. And like they have some of that too, but it is like the way they implement that the loops in this game, like the conversation loops in this game, really engaging and really well done. I didn't even mean to talk about Hitman 2 that long, but
no,
something
dude,
I noticed.
awesome.
I was like, man, this is awesome.
I haven't played the new Hitmans, but I enjoy watching people play them. Like I love watching Achievement Hunter and Funhouse play them because it's hilarious and just the
honestly,
different ways. Like
I think playing it tonight.
Yeah, I think Hitman 2 can't you like dress up like as a clown?
Yeah.
To like start off, I think that's one of the outfits you can maybe like start off with and like throw rubber ducks that explode. Like you said, it's a video game. You do things to just like have fun with it. Which
Now,
is awesome.
Kyle, it's been a while since we talked. At least it feels like that. It really has. If like preparing the show notes,
it's been a year.
Yeah, son of a bitch. I thought we were gonna be better, Kyle. I thought we were gonna be better than these jokes. But no, it's seriously, it does feel like a year since we've talked. What have you been playing? Anything you want to highlight?
I still haven't plugged in the PS Classic. I'm going to eventually.
Don't have to.
I'm doing it. You can't stop me.
Did you see you could get it at Target for $35?
Oh, I got it for 60. It's okay. I ended up getting some games for the Vita too.
Okay.
I got Smash and I got Let's Go Pikachu.
Mm-hmm. How are you? Okay, I know this is trophy room, but like, how are you enjoying Smash as someone who, let's be honest, PlayStation All Stars League's better?
I enjoy Smash. It is something I've never been really good at.
Right.
The unlocking of the characters that I want though is kind of annoying. I know a lot of people like doing it that way.
Don't you dare complain about this game, Kyle. That's what I learned on the internet.
I just
critique.
I just want to play as that wrestler fire dude Incineroar. That's all I want in my life, and I have no idea when he's going to show up.
I got Toon Link, and I was happy with my life and my existence.
I mean, luckily, like my first Smash experience was N64, so all those characters are starting. So like I can play as Samus and Kirby and Wreck Shop if I have to. But then the other big game that I sunk a lot of time into was the last year's WWE 2K19.
By God, how did you
I'm a huge wrestling fan. I love the wrestling games for the most part. Mm-hmm. And I was excited to check this out for their My Player career mode. They finally put like an actual story that was voice acted and all that stuff. Man, they like half-assed it. It was not great.
Oh no!
So like, for example, there'd be like a cutscene where you're in the ring in an arena, filled arena, and you could hear your character's footsteps like walking on wood. And like, there's no crowd noise or anything, but you're saying something really hype and like attacking somebody. And there's supposed to be like a crowd reaction, and there's dead silence.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. Those games cannot be yearly. They need time on those games. Yeah,
I think I forgot where the article is from, but I think next year is where we're gonna see like actual big time changes in its formula, which I hope so. Yeah. It's a good step in the right direction to get back to like where. Shut Your Mouth and Know Your Role from PS2 and like SmackDown vs. Raw. Those games are fantastic. I saw some gameplay like on Twitter or something, like from a Hell in a Cell match from one of the old games. Like, I missed those games so much. Yeah,
dude, I pretty much 100%ed SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Yeah, and like I don't know when wrestling games started to go downhill. I do remember like playing 2007 being like, are there typos in this dialogue? Like
100%.
Yeah. And like, I don't know what it is. I mean, it probably is like the fact that they're yearly, but like it feels like they don't need to be that way. Like they really don't. They don't need to be as broken as they are sometimes.
They don't even look, they look like models of what, like, actually not even, when you're going into like a bodega, right? And you see what is like some just take on a Power Ranger, but it's like Power Gang. Like that's what the models look like. Like to me, I'm just like, they look rough Everybody, it just the games just don't look appealing to me.
Which is insane to me because I've also played NBA 2K and I love NBA 2K and their models and everything look fantastic and the voice acting they do in that career mode is like really really good and like it matches up well and the crowd noise and everything syncs up and
like the
it's
big
like a
names
fleshed out
kind of
story.
do. Like John Cena looks sick, but like other than
that's
that,
the
like,
best
everybody...
point. Thankfully, you brought up John Cena.
Oh,
John Cena is the only character in the story that is not voiced by John Cena, and it's voiced by somebody else. And it took me out of it. Like, so every other wrestler and face in the story mode is the real wrestler's voice, but not John Cena. It's just like I'm John Cena. I'm here, like
I'm busy
trying
doing
hard to
the
be
Bumblebee
him.
movie.
Yeah, it did not work well.
That is awesome. I mean, it's literally like he's literally doing work for a movie, and he can't come through and do voiceover for the WWE.
It's like his brother, like Bob Cena. It's like that's awesome.
Or his dad or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to look up YouTube videos of that. For me, it's literally been more Fortnite, guys. I can't get enough. I can say I'm addicted. I should have been doing research for a video today, and I was just like, I'm getting Victory Royales like it's nothing. So I'm just gonna keep down this road. And other than that, let me see. I played Flower for the first time.
Oh
wow.
And I got to the 5th level with the lightning because I want to platinum that game. And whoever made that level, I want to meet you. I want to meet you and want to beat your face because you're an evil person. Let me tell you something. Because that level insanely difficult. But other than me trying to platinum that game, man, it's just nice to just move. I don't know, just move the controller around the way you're doing. Just kind of like frolicking like through this like meadow, just peaceful. It's just nice and tranquil. It kind of gets you away from everything else. It's really nice. I dig it. That's it. That's all I've been playing. I know I'm a little lame, but with that, talk about games that I should have played more of. Our first news story is Detroit developer Quantic Dream teases a great news soon. This comes from Push Square, and this is actually Quantic's tweet right here saying, "Thank you all for the fabulous year 2018. We should be back soon with some great news. Stay well and happy and share your passion and love. Stay tuned, ... Okay. Now, Blessing, I don't know if you are a big fan of Quantic Dreams or Detroit. I wasn't a big fan of Detroit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got kind of like halfway through with Kara and the girl when they were trying to they were just in a car somewhere last time I left them, and I just never could get into this.
Oh
game.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Was this before they got to like the theme park or?
Yep, definitely before that. So
gotcha.
How where do you come from? Because it seems like you at least played it. Did you enjoy?
Oh yeah,
Detroit?
I really like Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
I actually I'm actually surprisingly like a big fan of Quantic Dream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I loved Heavy Rain. That's like one of my favorite games ever. Beyond Two Souls, I'm like, okay, that was all right. Like I didn't like that one as much as I liked Heavy Rain. Detroit Become Human, I really liked mainly for like the choices in the way like. It's weird because like with those games, the story can kind of like it's inconsistent as far as like you can depending on what choice you get or you give, you can like go down a storyline that's like super cool, or you can go down a storyline that's like, oh, I don't know if I liked how this played out, or like you can go down a storyline that's like, all right, that was fine. Like I wish I wish more of their choices were like better as far as like how they played out, but I think that's kind of what you get when you get like these branching story paths, and you kind of
felt like they were beating me over the head with the theme. And like, so to me it was a little bit too heavy-handed, and that's why I was just like, all right, I can kind of take it or leave it. But with that, so you enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think this news is per se? Because a lot of people like immediately like Connor and Hank, because to me like those two were amazing. Though from what I played with them, those two I wanted to see actually more of them. I don't know how it panned out, but what do you think this news is? Is this a new game? Do you think it's too soon? What do you think?
I think it's way too soon for a new game.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know like where Sony and Quantic stand currently as far as like does Sony want a new game from Quantic? Because I know like Quantic Dream, it seems like that studio for Sony where like people tend to not as far as like them compared to other Sony studios, people are just not as much of a fan of Quantic Dream as they may be for like Guerrilla or Naughty Dog or now Santa Monica and like these other Sony studios that are like putting out a lot of Insomniac even like they're not first party but like they're putting out like these quality beloved Sony games and Quantic Dream even though like I think their games are excellent tend to like kind of as far as like public perception they're not killing it the way these other guys are.
Like they're like critical darlings, but in terms of like commercial sales, they're not selling 3 million copies in 3 days like God of War.
Especially in commercial sales, but even like critically, like I know a lot of critics like are they're very mixed as far as like how people receive them.
What about you, Kyle? What do you think? In terms of like, do you think this is a new game, or you think this is something a little smaller?
No, I'm with Blessing in here. I don't think it's a new game. I think it's way too early for that. What I feel like it is, because when I think of Quantic, I think of Heavy Rain, obviously, and Beyond not being up to snuff is what I hoped it was.
Sure.
But again, like Blessing, I love Quantic Dream. I love the stories they tell. Detroit was, I think, pretty good. I like 2 of the storylines. Marcus.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Marcus was okay. Like
I'm definitely with you there.
Kara was the standout for me. Her arc. I loved Kara's arc. But I feel like when I think of Quantic and I think of PlayStation specifically, I think of like the tech demos, like the little like we got the Kara test footage or whatever to show off the power of the PlayStation.
Right.
Like way before Detroit was announced. We got that sorcerer thing like a couple years ago. It seems like they take whatever that is and make it into the next game. So I feel like maybe they are making that sorcerer vignette,
like they're making
whatever
a tech demo more than an actual game at this point.
I think maybe we're going to see a tech demo of like a PS5 engine, but not really announce it as like a PS5 engine footage. I think they're just going to showcase something like
I think
to show off the power Quantic can do.
Yeah.
I think that's very apt, and I think what like if I was at Sony and like I had Quantic Dream at my disposal and I was on the verge of releasing the PlayStation 5, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that like they even do like a left turn and be like, hey, Quantic, we want you guys. We know you guys just released Detroit and you guys have spent however many years, like 4 or 5 years on Detroit. We want you to make like a small 2 to 3 hour story experience to launch with the PS5. Like I think something like that isn't out of the realm of possibility. I think that something like that would be especially cool for them, where it takes them away from like their current like framework of doing things of like these 10-hour choice-driven games to like making like a smaller story, more confined but very technically impressive in order to show off the hardware. I don't know. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, I actually now that when you say it like that, like YouTube are like Kyle, right when you said, I'm like, this is one of those moments. That's why you're my co-host. It's that makes a lot more sense than any type of DLC from this game, because I feel like your choices are pretty. I know the ending of Detroit, so like your choices are pretty much there. Like exploring the effects of your decisions. Like I don't think DLC is a thing, but when you do look at PlayStation 5 is around the corner, the Xbox Next Box is around the corner. Like these things are coming. So when it comes to news, I don't think it's anything too big. I think it is something more of we're going to have like a tech demo shown off somewhere. With that though, the second part that I want to get at here is this was the last game that Sony had contracted Quantic Dreams to do. So with that, do you think that they could be going multi-platform with some of their games? Or do you think that maybe there's a contract? Phil Spencer's he has a big wallet right now.
Yeah.
Do you think Xbox would be interested in picking up Quantic Dreams?
I think they're definitely.
I'm sorry, I should have directed it. See,
no, it's
look at
like,
me with 3 people.
I think they're definitely interested in it.
Yeah.
I mean, Quantic Dream is a quality studio, so of course there should be some interest there from Microsoft for sure.
What about you, Blessing? What do you think?
I don't know. That's like, I feel like you have that as there's the strong PlayStation association with them, which like it would be an interesting move for Microsoft to acquire them. Yeah. But I feel like Microsoft even like I could very much see it'd be weird. I don't know. It'd be like dating your friend's ex-girlfriend like the day after almost. Like I feel like they'd almost want like Quantic Dream to go third party as like the alternative. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that is more likely than Xbox acquiring them. Yeah. I think the big move would be Nintendo to acquire them. It's never gonna happen.
No, yeah, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, that would be. It's like Mario.
Yeah. Oh my god, I would love that.
Dude, imagine Kara in Smash.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love it. I'd love to see Hank as like a spirit.
I want a Mario-driven narrative game where you have to make choices. Like,
oh my god, and you can see Mario's pores.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking Heavy Rain with Mario in it, and he loses Toad, and he's just screaming around the mall looking for Toad.
But it's the same voice as the Sean guy. Like it doesn't even have an Italian accent.
I love it. Like, you know what? I'll get Miyamoto on the phone. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, the only issue with DLC for Detroit is because is the thing that those games can end in such an assortment of ways. I'm sure I don't know to what extent everybody can die, but I'm sure most of the main characters in that game can die.
I figured out a way to make all of them die at one point.
Oh wow, yeah. I was like, man, I'm pretty sure I killed a lot of people during my playthrough.
Dude, I was playing that game. I was just like, this is literally my life. I know I cannot do adulthood because every chapter they're dying.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I was handling one interrogation scene so well. Bam, dead. Like it was just
And those characters can end up in such an assortment of ways that if they were going to if they're going to do DLC, if they're going to do the Hank Connor thing, it would have to be. It couldn't be a sequel because there are ways for either of those characters to turn out anyway.
They have to pick a canon version of whatever the ending of the game is. It might not match up to what everyone's ending is.
Yeah,
but that'd be tough to do for a small DLC version.
And it would almost be a bummer too because I've had the idea and I still want to go back because the way I played Detroit was Connor was is helping the robots and Hank and Connor pretty much had a pretty good relationship. I wanted to replay the game and make the storyline that Connor is hunting down the robots and Connor is
oh dude, that's what I was doing. I'm programmed.
I go down that route.
Yeah, I was just I don't care. It's my job.
But the fact that you can have that ownership over where the story goes, then would make them choosing a canon ending kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that's definitely true. With that, let's close the book on Detroit for now. Let's talk about Persona 5R XS Max.
Oh yes,
this comes straight out of Push Square. Atlus has officially teased Persona 5R, a project that's long been rumored following its website domain registration back in 2017. The trailer embedded above isn't very long at all, but it does confirm that the game is a PlayStation title. It also says we'll be getting more information in March 2019, so you've got a few months to get through before we actually know what we're dealing with. Blessing, you sound very excited about this. Why should I be excited about this?
Honestly, you probably shouldn't be excited because we have no idea what it is. But I'm excited because I love Persona 5. It's weird. My love for Persona 5 has grown since I beat it. Because once I beat it, I was like, I hate these dungeons. This game is too long. There's so much filler. Now that I'm separated from it, I'm like, man, I really love Persona 5, don't I? I kind of want to go back and replay it. I don't know. There's something about that game that connects you to it. And so I have strong. I mean, I'm sure everybody kind of has the feeling this is going to be some type of re-release, maybe with with more content, maybe coming to another platform. Who knows? It's weird because it's the trailer or the teaser, whatever it is, started off with the PlayStation splash screen, and so that definitely doesn't point to any other platform or Persona 5 coming to any other platform, but who knows, Persona 5R, whatever that could be a thing that comes to PlayStation and Switch and PC or whatever it may be. That said, I have no idea what this is.
Persona's always been a game for me that I've wanted to get into. tried to get into. Like I played, and I'm not saying this me giving this any effort. I've played maybe like an hour or two of that game, going, man, I'm still like, is this my uncle's house? I don't know what the hell he is, but like, I want to get out of here. Let me fight something. I love the opening scene. That was pretty dope. And the story beat's pretty cool. But I was just like, let me just, can I go do my thing right now? I want to fight something. But when it comes to like Persona, and as I think about it more, ever since it was, what is it, Joker coming to Switch, I've been super pumped to see that on Switch. And it actually gets me excited because I'm like, maybe this is the thing that I needed this game to be. Maybe it is that mobile, component that is propelling me to get this.
Like, I think Persona as a series is meant to be a handheld series, even though it started off on console, and even like Persona 3 was on console, Persona 4 was on console at first. I played Persona 4 Golden on the Switch, and it was so hard for me to get through Persona 5 because every time I played Persona 5, I was like, this is great, but like, if I had this to go,
relaxed more.
Yeah, like there's something about having that game because it's so long and it's done in weird chunks, like the way it's formatted, where it's day by day by day. And like there's so much meticulous there's a lot of meticulous gameplay as far as like you managing your relationships, and there's a lot of management in that game going on.
There's a lot of social gameplay that is more like when you're on the go, sure, I'll go to class or for a little bit and like I'll go on a date with one of the characters, whatever.
Okay.
Like it's one of those games that like you can bust out and play for literally like 10 minutes and be like, okay, cool, I made progress, because like you make progress in that game a day at a time, except for in the dungeons, and then it's like a deep dive. I'm going to play this game for 10 hours straight.
Yeah.
But like when you're in the overworld, it's like, hey, I'm going to play this game for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like just go about my day. And I feel like that type of gameplay works perfectly on the go.
It just kind of like the way I remember Persona 5, and I bet Nasty Boots is like yelling in his car radio right now, is it kind of had like that top-down look to it, at least when you're going through the over world, whereas it's like, it feels, again, guys, please, you can kill me later, kind of felt like more Pokemon-esque, where I'm like, I as much as I love Pokemon Go, I played that a crap ton on handheld because it was just like, I feel like it's just meant to be here. I just feel like the art style and the way that the camera's positioned just lends itself to a mobile audience. So I don't know, for me, I'm interested in Persona 5R, but I don't know. Like, at the same exact time, I don't know if I'll be getting this day one. They did tease that they're working on multiple projects at the moment as well in the Persona 5 universe. So,
and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
That means that means Persona 5Q maybe, which is like if you played Persona, I think it was called Persona 4Q. It was like a 3DS game that was like a cute version of Persona
like a
4
chibi version.
Yeah, like a chibi version. And so if they did that, I'd be excited. I'd get it. Persona 5 dancing is already a thing. They could make a Persona 5 they could be working on a Persona 5 fighting game. Because Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, I think is what it's called, was the previous fighting game for Persona. And yeah,
I want a lot here. Bless.
I want them to milk Persona 5 as much as they can, because like, I don't know, man, there's something about that, like, and I'm honestly like, a big part of it is like, I played 130 hours, and so like I have such a connection and such a devotion to those characters and to that world that now I'm just like, I want to bathe in it. I want them to like give me whatever they can for me to experience that some more.
Persona 5 is one of the games that's in my shame pile. Like I played up until like the third dungeon and I loved it. Like this is like my first real dive into Persona. Persona games.
I didn't think I was gonna finish it. Like I played up to like the third or fourth dungeon, and I stopped for like 6 months. And I think I hopped back in just because I was like, I got nothing else to play. I'll try it out.
I'm getting that itch to go back in, because it came at a time where I just got busy. Summer camp started, and that's 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like I was tired, and I knew how much attention I needed for Persona, and that sounds like a bad thing, but it's not, because Persona, you need to use all your senses, and you need to have your wits about you. But I think this is kind of interesting. Like I love like theorizing about and like taking little aspects of trailers and seeing if it matches up. I think the R could be like a Persona 5 Ruby, and much like Persona 4 Golden, and maybe Persona 5 R is on the Vita. Portable Vita version, because the trailer was not.
We like to let him dream.
Yeah, this is the Vita soapbox that I die on every week. The video itself was not. Maybe it's just my version of where I watched it, but it wasn't as high as quality as I think Persona looks like in the video. Like it looked de-res a little bit, like not a PlayStation 4 version of it. So that could either mean Vita version or maybe the R is simply just VR, Persona in VR.
That'd be wild. I wouldn't even know what they would.
I wouldn't know how they would do that.
You have to
like,
really look at who's the best boy and girl in that game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who is the best girl?
Makoto, easily. Yeah.
What? Describe her for the audience.
She's the smart girl.
Okay.
Only thing is that she's a cop, and so like it's kind of a negative quality, but like.
So you're kind of dancing with the devil, you know.
But no, she's great. She's great.
I like it. Okay, awesome. Persona 5R, guys, gang, let's get it. Now to something I'm actually really excited about. All right, Deracine, or I don't even know it at this point. I just hear Bloodborne 2 and I perk up. I get really excited. Deracine Easter eggs, not indicative of Bloodborne 2. This also comes from Push Square. This is a running theme. According to creator Hideki Miyazaki, I almost got that right, though the Easter eggs were just that. And this is his quote here. Easter eggs. I'm sorry for getting everyone's hopes up. We only put those Easter eggs for fun, he said. Many people on Deracina staff, and of course myself, really love Bloodborne. So we wanted to put references to it, but we went overboard. We're reflecting on it. I'm going to use this question I put on the notes. How did Mr. Miyazaki's mother raise such a liar? Kyle, this one goes to you. He's come on, right? We knew, I think I talked about this months back, that there was about, I think, 3 projects From Software was working on. One was a VR title, one was an unannounced IP, and then one was a sequel to an already existing IP. And this was, I think, after Dark Souls 3's release. So, come on, it's happening, right, Kyle?
I mean, it would make sense. It's happening.
Sorry, yeah, it would only make sense. It would only make sense. Blessing, what about you?
Like,
I'm sorry.
If I was working on a game and like I had the opportunity to put Easter eggs in, I would put as many Easter eggs as possible because like that's just, I think that's cool. I love when games do that, like little shout outs to older games.
It's just I want Bloodborne.
I know you want Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I know you want it. And I really do feel like it's going to come, Joe. It just... But if you were thinking of confirmation from Deracine, I don't know if that was the right call.
Right. But I mean, like, so I haven't necessarily played Deracine myself because from what I understand, $30 is a little steep for this game that they're asking. So I kind of held off. But I understand that there are, from what I'm aware of, 1 or 2 Easter eggs. And I thought they were just, from what I saw, pretty cool Easter eggs. Not like anything more of, that's there. I don't think Easter eggs necessarily mean anything other than a developer sharing their love and, you know, their appreciation for their games that they've worked on previously. I don't think every single little tease has to mean a new game. You know, this isn't Smash Brothers where we have all these theories. So, to me, I thought nothing of it. What do you think, Blessing? Do you think Bloodborne 2 is happening? Please say yes.
I don't know.
No,
that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not as tuned into the Soulsborne games, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed this studio is interesting because like Bloodborne 1 was of course like PlayStation exclusive. Yeah. Then now their next thing they're doing after they just did Deracine is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is multi-platform. What is their relationship with Sony? Do you guys know? Like,
it's
are they
a weird relationship.
Like...
From what I'm aware of, how From Software works is in Japan, they usually self-publish everything. And when they go to like other countries, like North America, for example, Activision looks at their portfolio. They go, okay, we can use an action game or this, that, the other thing. And then From Software goes, well, we need a big publisher to get it in all the stores. They work something out. And that's how From Software kind of does it. It's similar to like CD Projekt Red, where CD Projekt Red will use like EA in Europe, but they'll use WB over in North America. So it's nothing more than just strictly business.
Who's publishing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice?
Here in the States is Activision, which makes it...
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Everybody like step back now. This is weird.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like this. Yeah,
I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance of Bloodborne 2. I just don't... I don't know, man. Like the fact that they pivoted so quickly to being like, oh yeah, we're putting out Shadows, even though like that original tease looked like Bloodborne 2, makes me think that like they want to do new stuff and try new things. But like, I don't know, Bloodborne was so successful, I can't imagine like they don't want to return to that well.
I mean, they do have another franchise that they've worked on that is beloved by many, Joe. That's been gone for a while.
Oh, is that the
Armored Core?
Ooh, now this I like.
Yeah,
I like that mode of thinking.
I think it's time for something new. And Sekiro, like Blessing said, that teaser, I thought it was Bloodborne 2. I think everyone in the world thought it was Bloodborne 2. Sekiro is almost like Bloodborne.
My girlish shrieks would agree with you when I first saw that trailer.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing for me too. Is like the reason why I'm not like sold on on Bloodborne 2 being a sure thing is the fact that Sekiro is so close. I mean, not so close, but it is like of that same ilk. And it looks cool. And like, I don't know if it'd be weird, but I feel like it'd be slightly weird for them to have those two games rotating because and I don't know. I guess Naughty Dog does have Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto, and Bethesda has Fallout and
it could
Skyrim
be
and all
like
that stuff. But
their new version of they went from Demon Souls to Dark Souls. Like Bloodborne was like it's a one-off thing, and it was only on PlayStation, and then they did other things.
See, that's the reason why that scares me so much.
Yeah,
because Demon Souls is a Sony IP, right? So back in the day, they had Demon Souls. It didn't work out, or Sony didn't have enough faith in From Software that game would sell in North America, so they handed it off to Bandai Namco, and then they kind of just abandoned it to create Dark Souls. And that's one of my only fears, like, you have gold with Bloodborne. It's the game of the generation. It's a fact. It's a fact. That's just science. I've looked it up. Shuhei has told me so.
I don't know, man. The Order 1886.
Wow.
That was a hit.
That's true. There's, you know what?
God, I hope they make a sequel to that.
Dude, I would actually be pretty down for that. Actually,
if they changed like the going for cinema, nonetheless, Bloodborne 2.
They just got to tweak that shooting.
You got to tweak the shooting. More werewolf penis. We're
just
great.
Give me an open world Batman Arkham City-esque game where he's just going out hunting werewolves and being a badass.
That's being a badass, yeah.
But an Armored Core reboot or like Armored Core coming back would be pretty awesome. I don't know, man. I could be that. It'd be different. It'd be a unique thing in the portfolio. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, this is supposed to get my hopes up. Let's get to the main topic of the night. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. Ever since we started doing more little special topics with our game of the show, I wanted to do, or game of the year rather, I wanted to do stories that defined PlayStation in 2018. And there were 3 that came to mind. And so how we're going to do this tonight is we're going to talk about PSN name changes, crossplay controversy with Fortnite, and then no PSX in 2018 / Sony won't be attending E3. I want us to rank these. Simple because there's 3. In from least important to most important. I think the easiest one to say that's least important here is PSN name changes. Right?
Agree.
You agree? All right, good. I'm along for the ride here. So with that, I think the third biggest story this year, PSN name changes. The fact that we're finally able to change our name with a little asterisk mark there means a lot to so many people. Blessing, what do you feel about PlayStation in 2018 when it comes to name changes? Because there's a lot of, it may affect some games from your PlayStation 3 era or Vita era games. What do you feel?
I feel like it's more fascinating than anything because like I'm somebody who wants to change their name. Like I would love to change my name to actually I won't say it because I don't want anybody to take it. But like
what is it now, Blessing?
Right now it's Merc City 64.
Okay.
Dude, that's
which is
an awesome name.
Yeah, it's not a bad name at all. I made that, but the thing is I made that name when I was like 16, I think. Like whenever I bought my PS3, I made that name, and I just haven't like I've not had the opportunity to change it to something that I feel like would be more I don't know, identifiable for me, something that people could like, whether it is like something that has to do with the website OKBeast or something that has to do like something that something that reflects me in 2018 or 2019 now. It's weird that they didn't have that foresight because like I mean it's I feel like they would have known that this is a system like PSN is something they would have been using seemingly for like indefinitely.
I want to talk to that old guy who was just like, what's the internet? And we don't need to change our names, you know.
So like and knowing I feel like knowing what we know about the way PSN was built and like what rumors have said and what people have said, like this is a Herculean task for them to try and figure something out. And now that like they've come out and said like, hey, you're gonna be able to change your name, but there are these caveats. I'm not gonna do it. And like it's like that's why for me it's like it's more fascinating than anything because like I'm excited that they're able to finally pull it off, but it is fascinating to see them just struggle with it and wrestle with it and be like, hey, like
the thing that shocked me was the fact that you might get locked out of games you bought and you can't play them. Like that
they said everything except for like your PlayStation is just gonna explode. Like exactly. They're like, oh yeah, you might lose. I forget
you'll
the
lose
whole
trophies,
list of things.
You'll lose access to games, saves might not be able to.
Leaderboards might not work.
Yeah. Like it's it's messy. Like. It's very, and then they're like, and I forget what the thing is. Like, you can change it back once or something like that.
Everybody gets.
There's like a lot of caveats that make it like a scary thing, but like, it's interesting because I think this is a thing that they had to do. I'm surprised they're doing it now instead of the next jump to the next generation. But maybe they crunched the numbers and they're like, well, if we did it during the jump, then like there's still going to be the negative aspects to it, and we don't want that to tear down the jump to the next generation.
Right.
But man, you
kind of want to get this out of the way before we launch PlayStation 5 so that people know we have it. It exists. You can change it. Just don't look at the fine print. Yeah.
Exactly.
So do you think overall that this story is a good news story that helps define what PlayStation is in 2018? Or do you think because of the caveats, there's definitely shades of gray, to say the least?
I think it's just a big old shade of gray. Like, I don't think it's bad because like I think if you paid attention, then you'd know that like this is going to be something like this is what it takes for them to make this happen. But it's not entirely positive either, given that like I mean I think a lot of people aren't going to change their name because of these caveats, and so like what's the point? For me it changes nothing, except for being able to watch from afar and see like okay what's going to go down. And so for me it's just gray. It's just like in that middle area of like, and I don't know. I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest PlayStation stories of this year because like people have been waiting for this forever. But I don't know if it's defining, as far as like what compared to the other stories we have on here.
Yeah. What about you, Kyle? What do you think? Is it positive, or
I think it's a step in the right direction for sure. Okay. I mean, it's something that old PlayStation didn't do a whole lot was listen to its fan base and kind of working on things that we wanted to a certain extent, like on the technical side of things, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. Positive thinking that they're looking into it, and as flawed as it is, I can see it as a positive. I think it is a huge news story for the year because so many people want it. Shout out to you, Sean Capri, because I know you want it.
You know what his name is, Blessing? It's so
yeah. I forget. Actually, remind me because I forgot what it was.
It's you know what it is, Sean. We'll tell you. We'll tell you afterwards. He's a parent with 2 kids. Let's just say that.
But yeah, so it's definitely a great news story. I think a news story that I just thought of that is not on this list actually, that might be number 3 for me is because I do think the other 2 are bigger than what I'm going to say, is just how successful Sony first party exclusives were, or exclusives on PlayStation in general. God of War, Spider-Man, Detroit, all really solid games.
Yeah, dude, when you said what 3 stories defined the PlayStation this year, I thought you were gonna be like, oh yeah, God of War story and Detroit story and Spider-Man story, because I was like, oh yeah, those are 3 great narratives. Those games have pretty good stories.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. When we talk about more and more of this list, is a lot of people writing in because I went to Andrew House's house, and ironic he calls it that. And he's just like, I don't work here anymore. Leave me alone. And there's a mailbox there. I steal his mail constantly. It's ridiculous. He has a lot of credit card debt. A lot of it. Can't believe he retired. But with that, a lot of people wrote in. They're just like, games. Like, these stories are great and everything. Some are bad. But, like, it's games. Like, games are the things that define this. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, like, when it comes to the PlayStation name changes, for me, it is the... Okay, we knew this day would come. Eventually. This is something that has always been a flawed thing that Sony has never had. That's always been, that mark on their ledger type of thing, right? Like, they've always had that scar for years. And now it's Sony kind of finally going, listen, guys, we got this. It's not picture perfect. We get it. We messed up somewhere along the lines. We understand. Here's the best fix. Like what you were talking about earlier, Blessing, was this was a Herculean like task to tackle, and this is the best thing that they could come with. And to me, to just go, it's not enough, you dumb idiots, is to me a little harsh, because this is something that they have been trying to work at for years, and I don't think they would just go, just put this out as a solution just to get it out there. I really do think they at least tried to get something decent. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. And I think, they should have known from the get-go. But also, Nintendo should have known to put voice chat in their damn console. So everybody makes mistakes. It's not perfect. So I think this is leaning in a right direction. This isn't the solution we wanted. It is a solution. It's just not the best solution. And with that, I think this is a good story overall, because you're getting this out now before the console releases. You're going to finally have some type of level playing field with the rest of the boys. And you're able to actually compete and show off, what really matters, the games. And so with that, we got the two stories right here. Got crossplay, and then no PSX this year, or no, actually let's just boil it down to PlayStation won't attend E3. Which one of these two stories is bigger? And this one, I'm gonna go with Kyle with this one. Which one do you think is bigger? While Blessing, you think it over.
I think PlayStation not attending E3 next year is pretty huge.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a EA who is technically not there. They're like in their own side building, like down the street. But PlayStation's one of the big three, and the fact that they're not there, to do like a major press conference, it's gonna feel weird. Yeah. And it's a sign of maybe E3 not being what it used to be. Mm-hmm. And the future kind of looking much different than what we expect from. So I think that one's bigger. Crossplay is huge. Right. But the fact that one of the big three companies are, or technically Nintendo has their direct thing, but like the fact
they're up
that
in the trees somewhere. Like, they don't even have Wi-Fi.
The fact that there's not going to be another major press conference thing from PlayStation is kind of big.
What about you, Blessing? You think the same?
I'm gonna go on the flip side, just for the sake of being different. I'm gonna say crossplay was the biggest story, mainly for the reason that I think PlayStation not having PSX and not being at E3 for next year, that's huge. But that mainly affects next year, whereas I think crossplay affects just like the future period for video games forever. That's an awesome take. And I attribute it more to Epic than to Sony, because Epic was the ones that kind of twisted their arm. But the fact, there's a lot of things that go into that crossplay story, right? It's it was the reluctance from Sony giving in, and now Epic, the latest thing is them being like, hey, we have tools for developers to make this happen. We're going to make this happen.
And that's the ballsiest thing. So for the sake of this conversation, I'll put it as number 2, that the E3 is more important, because I want to talk about this. I think what you stated is excellent. How this story first began was Fortnite. Who to think this game, Fortnite? I remember when Fortnite, I think, was shown off on Xbox's stage with Cliffy B up there, and it looked totally different. I literally spent some portion of the day today trying to find the original trailer. Can't find it anywhere anymore. And wow. Yeah, it's just how this game...
I remember the Game Informer cover way back when.
it's nuts. And this game was just, when it came out, it was meh. And then this battle royale mode which was, when you look at it, like just 6 months ago, or not even, like a little over a year, bare bones, but somehow it just it kind of avalanches into this monstrosity, this huge thing that's unavoidable.
It's insane because literally today, this morning, Alex DM'd me a tweet that he tweeted in 2013, and the tweet was, at Epic, can we expect Fortnite at E3 this year? Because like that's how long that game has been in development. That the reason it's funny from Alex is because like Alex from OKBeast, he is like a huge like Curious fan, Cliff Blazinski, that's his lane. But yeah, like that game went MIA and it came out and was dead on arrival. That game wasn't supposed to make it. No. That game was supposed to be it was supposed to be Agents of Mayhem. Like it was supposed to be like a game that came out and nobody was going to hear of, and it probably should have like hung up the I'm making up a phrase, hung up the coat by now. Like it
was like
weird.
A tower defense game from what I remember.
It's a weird-ish tower defense game. Even now, like the base game it's not that like spectacular. There's better ones out there, but the battle royale mode is just it's insane.
It's the biggest game in the world. It's the new like Mario. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, like dude, seeing little kids playing this game. Like I was out like every time when I'm out, I'm at a restaurant, I just see a kid with an iPad playing Fortnite. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how
it's my generation or today's generation's Pokemon in my eyes. I think we said that a couple weeks ago. Like everyone played Pokemon when I was in middle school and in high school stuff, and now it's Fortnite dances everywhere you look, and Fortnite. And
do you think, to an extent, it's bigger than Pokemon?
I would say so at this point.
What say you, Blessing? Because I would like to say yes.
I can't say yes yet.
Right.
I have to give it time because like Pokemon when that first came out, like that turned into a TV show, trading card games, like that had a whole revolution. But I think Fortnite is having a similar moment. So I can't say it until that Fortnite TV show gets greenlit. Then I'll be like, okay.
That's what I think we were talking about a few weeks ago. It's like how have they not made a like? How has Hollywood not taken this dumb idea yet and just went,
they will
making a movie. Fortnite movie, like I
would totally go see it.
The Rock's in it.
If it's anything like Hunger Games, like where you have to survive, I'm down.
Dude, it's just it is nuts, and just to see how fast like their toys there, and they're actually like they look decent. Like it's so big. Do you think going back to PlayStation here, not just to stroke Epic's ego, if PlayStation just didn't lock accounts, do you think this crossplay issue would have been as big as it was? I'm gonna go with Blessing on this one.
No, I don't. I think the thing that pushed it was the fact that like it wasn't just the crossplay stuff, right? It was Epic being like, hey, you can't play on you can't play on Nintendo if you have an account on PlayStation. Like you have to create a new email and create a new account. I think that's the thing, and I think that was like Epic pushing the issue. That was like Epic being like, hey, like because Epic didn't, the way Epic worded it when I booted it up on my Switch when they announced at E3, when I opened up my Switch Fortnite, like the way it was worded, they were very much like pointing the finger, and they were very much like sticking it to PlayStation, right? We could
do it. It was kind of like the good parent. It was like good cop, bad cop. Like Sony's being the bad cop. So, like
it's like they're so it. I've never seen anything like this from a company before. Because like you had it. I think it was last year that Fortnite became momentarily crossplay. They accidentally, or quote unquote,
it was
accidentally,
early September last year. For a night, and people were playing via Xbox and PlayStation.
And people were like, yo, this isn't a PlayStation ID. And like people realized that it was like crossplay with Xbox or whatever. And like they say it's an accident. I don't think anybody believes in it. It's an accident. Like this is a thing that they very much want to happen and they want to be the pioneers of. Why? I'm actually not sure. I don't know if it's just out of the goodness of their hearts that they're like, crossplay needs to be a thing.
I think it's like who doesn't want to play with their friends on Nintendo or Xbox, right? Like, sure, they made the wrong decision. But I want to play with my friends on Nintendo and carry them because they're awful. They're Nintendo players. I'm playing Fortnite with you guys. It was rough.
And I never really thought about it, but like what is the, like, aside from business reasons for PlayStation and for Xbox and Nintendo, like what are like the practical reasons for not allowing crossplay? Like I understand like for shooters, playing versus people on PC becomes a problem because of mouse and keyboard. So I kind of understand that. But like in general, for like games that don't necessarily have that advantage from system to system, like what are the real reasons not to play, not to be able to play against somebody?
It's just because if, let's just say, I'm playing Fortnite on PlayStation, and then because a lot of people own everything or a lot of things, right? Like maybe I'm playing on PlayStation and I go on my phone and I buy something from the Epic Store. Well, Sony wants you to buy it from on their system so that they make a little bit of that money. It's all about just them taking as much money as they can. So they see you not being able to play, or you being able to play with your friends on Xbox, as you being able to play on Xbox and you buying their Epic
it's them
money
losing
on the
money
Xbox
because
store.
they have the biggest audience as far as people on PlayStations, and like PlayStation is going to be the loser here by allowing crossplay, because like people who own both Xbox and PlayStation, Xbox is going to get the benefit because there's more players. Like PlayStation is like they're the only ones that are kind of like losing, or they're the ones that are losing the most by doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
what they're losing the most is on perception. They were the good guy. This is where the gamers are, type of thing. Kyle, do you think Fortnite is the catalyst, is the beginning of this crossplay future of like, let's do it. Xbox, PlayStation 5, let's play together. Do you think that's the future?
Absolutely. Going back to like the last gen PS3, Xbox 360, back when I was working at GameStop, I had many people asking which console to get, and my go-to would be like, well, get the one where your friends are if you play online. And the fact that Fortnite's pushing it, so like it doesn't matter where you play, you just, as long as you own the game, you can play with people regardless of platform. I think it's huge, and I think that solves a lot of really, really good problems. Like it doesn't matter where you play, as long as you get to play with friends. I think is the real positive thing here, which is awesome.
Crazy. What do you and I'll do one for each. What do you think's the next game to be crossplay? Do you think it's like a Call of Duty? You think it's a Rocket League? What do you think, Blessing?
I think it's gonna be either Rocket League or Warframe. Warframe because it's free, and because I think it's big enough. And I think because like that game seems like the kind of game that scales very well, and I forget what engine that runs on. I might have to check if it's an Unreal Engine game though. Then I think they'll have easier capabilities, since Epic is doing a lot of work to make that kind of thing happen. Rocket League, because Rocket League is already crossplay between PC and PlayStation. I think Xbox can crossplay with Switch, if I remember correctly, and like all these things. So it's a similar situation as Fortnite. And so like that's another one where like if I'm pretty sure there's just a button that has to be pushed.
The engine used on Warframe is called Evolution.
Interesting.
Yeah, never heard of that. It's
I haven't heard that either.
Debuted in Dark Sector and then utilized in Darkness 2.
Yeah, so it's a proprietary one, it seems like, because I think Dark Sector was them also, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
Those are good choices. I'm trying to think of another like major multiplayer game this year that might do that. And like, I don't think Anthem is going to do it.
No, I don't think. I think
don't think Division 2 is going to do it.
No, I think it has to be. I would really love to see another huge, not even game at this point, just entity, just make a stand going like, I would love Ubisoft to go, yeah, we would like everything crossplay. Yeah. I would like
that would be
Activision to just be like, we'd like everything crossplay. EA, you want to win some brownie points?
I was just gonna say, it would be cool if like next year's Madden, like it doesn't matter what platform, you can just play against people in Madden.
Yeah, like that's huge. That would be awesome if you just took a stand going, okay, listen, we want this, and be more vocal about it. And then you get to twist Sony's arm just a little bit more so that they do fold, they do buckle. But do you think when it comes down to the response of Sony starting this beta, do you guys think this is just an excuse for them to go, okay, this is a way to contain Fortnite? Or do you think that this is truly a beta and thinking, okay, we'll test this out with Fortnite, maybe with a smaller game like Rocket League. If we don't see any damage on our end, we'll continue this going forward? And I'll throw this over to you, Kyle.
Yeah, it sounds like a Sony PlayStation thing to think.
Yeah.
Like, see if many people want it, and if they don't want it, then they'll stop it and be like, hey, we tried it, it's on you, type of thing.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move forward. I think that's what gamers want. And I think PlayStation learned from their mistakes, I hope. And
one can only hope.
I think it's going to be the norm, or they're going to try to make it the norm going forward.
What about you, Blessing? Do you think this is Sony just trying to kind of just see how things are, or is this a true beta?
I think it's both. I think PlayStation is I think calling it a beta allows them to be like, hey, like this is why only Fortnite gets to do it for now, because like we're just testing it out. But I think it is also a way for like, I'm sure there's somebody at PlayStation that's trying to prove to somebody else at PlayStation like, hey, this can work.
Yeah.
And I think starting it out as a beta and not committing to it fully is a way for them to be like, okay, let's watch and see how this goes.
Yeah, and it's also a way of snuffing it out if they don't want it, and just never, like, this beta could always be existing. Like, this is something that they can't just like go announce on Tuesday. We're killing this beta program, just didn't work, right? It's not a good PR thing to say that. So for me, I think it's a great way for them to kind of just see and see if they're actually truly losing money on this, and see if they could branch out with other smaller games, and then look at it and just go, okay, things aren't that bad. We could continue pushing forward, because I forget what podcast it was, but I think they said it perfectly well. I think it was Games Daily or man, I'm so sorry. I want to give credit where credit's due. But if the future is not in console boxes and it is in this platforms, right? We're selling this platform, the PlayStation platform, and you could get it on a little dongle drive type of thing, then I do think crossplay is just inevitable. It's just a thing that needs to exist. So yeah, I think to me crossplay is the biggest story here, but for number one, with no PSX this year and no Sony won't attend E3, I think the reason why this is number one to a lot of people in terms of importance is just happened a few months ago. Oh my God, it's been months. And so it's fresh in people's minds. But not only that, it's a mystery. It's a real big mystery. Is this a mistake? Is E3 dying? Like Kyle, you were saying earlier, is this the beginning of the end for E3? Blessing, I want to know what your take is. Do you think this is a mistake?
I'm of many minds with this. I remember like when they first announced this, my mind was kind of like in like a bunch of different places of like, oh wow, this is bold. Oh wow, this is kind of I don't know how I feel about this. I landed in a place where I'm like, I think I can see some of the strategy with it, but I don't know if I'm fully with it. In the fact that like PlayStation is a pretty known quantity as far as like what their output is right now.
Yeah.
Like all of their studios, we know like this generation have either released the game or we know what they're working on. We know we know of Ghost of Tsushima, we know of Death Stranding, we know of Last of Us 2, Dreams, Days Gone. Like we're pretty much at a place where we're like, okay, yeah, like everything seems to be out in the open. And so for them, I've heard somebody phrase it that they're taking a knee on this generation and being like, hey, like we've done enough work here. Like we've proven our point. We've built this platform. We can let the third parties kind of like carry us through the rest, and we'll be back with the PS5 to give you more bangers. And so I could see that, but also like it's also just very weird to me, because I feel like one I think they could do another E3 this year. And I think they could even do a PSX and be like, hey, like here are the first parties you already know of, but also here are some indies and here are some third parties, and here are all these games that are still coming to PlayStation, even if they're not first party exclusive games. I think they could come out and do that, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Here's another guy with a flute.
And that's the thing. Like PlayStation's taken an interesting turn. Like I think they're putting out like the best exclusives this generation. Between like I guess between PlayStation and Xbox, Nintendo is like it's a weird they straddle generations, and so it's weird to bring them in. But like play Spider-Man, God of War, Detroit.
I think like the games speak for themselves right now. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, Sony's not talking. I'm like, well, because God of War's talking right now, and it's letting their games talk for them.
I think with that quality comes like a weird their E3s recently have been like, hey, like we're presenting more than a show. What we're doing here is art, and here are violins, and here are choirs, and we're gonna start this one off in a church, and you're gonna feel it. And I appreciate it to an extent because like I really like how they like how they treat their games, but I feel like at some point they can kind of push it a bit, as far as like being like kind of towing the line of being too artsy and too fancy. To the point where last year, like there were a lot of like I think mixed reception as far as like their presentation of it all. And like I think they've kind of taken that ownership of their E3 conferences and making it about like, hey, this is gonna be about our first party games and Call of Duty because they're partners. And I would have liked them to be, and I actually in the future I would like them to be like, hey, we're going to do some of what Xbox did this last E3 of like, hey, like. Why let Xbox show off Devil May Cry when you can? Why did let Xbox show off Jump Force or like the game that looks like Skate or like
all these awesome like third party
all these
games.
cool awesome games. Like Xbox's E3 last year was really dope, and PlayStation's was also dope in my eyes. But like I think you could share some of that wealth. I think there's no reason to not have cool new third-party games showing off at your place. Also, like indies, like the kind of funny
indie
showcase.
The showcase, like that was such a cool thing, and it was a good reminder of like, hey, there are really cool games coming out. Like Y2K, the postmodern RPG or whatever it's called, like that game looks awesome. Long Gone Dane, or what did I just say? Long Gone Days. I can't talk anymore. Looks super awesome. Like Ape Out, like. There are some really cool indie games coming. Like Celeste came out earlier this year. Like there's so many games, so many indie games that are coming out that are super cool. Like The Messenger. I can Guacamelee 2. Like I can go on for days. And these are games that I would have heard from PlayStation at the beginning of the generation. But I'm not hearing it all from them at this point in the generation because I think they've built up the first party base.
Yeah, I think that's what I would love for them to do. If they have run out of first party stuff to show, I think they do what Microsoft did, and that's what their E3 was this year. It was, hey, here's Forza, which is a major exclusive for us. Here's all the studios we bought. Here's a look at Gears, both in pop form and not in pop form, and then
in tactics form.
Yeah, and then it was just like a bunch of really cool third-party stuff that I know I'm going to play on PlayStation. So it was cool for me to watch that press conference as a non-Microsoft owner,
right?
And be like, "Oh, Dying Light 2 looks awesome! Can't wait to play that." Devil May Cry 5, oh, it's finally happening, type of thing. Even seeing Kingdom Hearts 3 show up on Xbox's stage was really, really interesting, and I think if they do a thing where they highlight third-party stuff and then just do an update like, hey, Final Fantasy VII Remake is still coming, and like a little tease here and there, or like Shenmue 3 or whatever, here's a little bit here, just like little hints at something to kind of make it their own
Concrete
still.
Genie, like,
oh yes, for sure. Like I think they still have some stuff there that they could use.
Well, I got someone who thinks it's a bad decision.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's Mr. Michael Pachter. And Blessing, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You get to choose a voice today. All right? You get to make Michael Pachter either sound like Barack Obama or Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption.
Ooh, I always got to go Barack Obama.
I think they made a bad decision, he explained. I think they somehow internally determined that the money was just not well spent. And they were wrong. All right, now back to the Western. I can't do Barack for that
that's
long.
real good.
Michelle she starts yelling at me real bad. Now, I don't know what they spent on E3, but even if it's like $15 million, by God, they get about 15 million publicity out of it. So I think they're fools by bypassing the show, and they'll be back. Pachter said last year's show, they had that stupid walkthrough that nobody understood. Just wasn't fun, by God. And I think, also, by Gods are not in this quote, and I think they probably spent a ton of that. And I think they're very much the guys that don't acknowledge that they did anything wrong. So just take their ball and go home because it just didn't work that well. By God.
I mean, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
They don't need to like throw on these like they don't need to have a waterfall. Like they don't need to make like sand, like sparkly rainbow sand fall from the sky.
And most of that walkthrough we didn't see.
Yeah.
It was cut to like Sid, and I love Sid. I love the PlayStation Access crew, but like it was cut to them, and it was just more stuff that we already saw either in the pre-show or the couple days leading up to E3, like all the other announcements that they already made,
it was
which they
awesome.
did, so it wouldn't be part of the show, but it was still part of a show.
Yeah, it was all like Tetris Effect was like my game that E3.
Oh yeah,
it was amazing, and just like like I wasn't part of this walkthrough. I didn't see any of this. And Blessing, just to let you know, I hated it. Like, I'm the PlayStation fanboy. I hated that conference. I didn't understand it. It's like, Michael Packer's right. I'm a big dumb.
I liked it from the content standpoint, for sure.
Yeah, but even then, like, I kind of wanted more, like, it's weird because they did the thing leading up where, like, they're like 5 days, we're going to announce 5 different things. And I'm like, watched all those things, and I was like, this could have been part of the conference. Like, there was no reason to leave it. Like, you don't have to do your pre-show, which then turned into an interlude this year, like in the middle of it. Like there's no like you don't have to do this stuff, guys. Like I would have liked, I think it was last year that it was Everybody's Golf in the pre-show, and like Undertale was announced in the pre-show, which why are you announcing Undertale in a pre-show? Put this in the conference. People love Undertale, people love this stuff. I appreciate what they're going for in turn, or what they've been going for with like, because their presentation is really cool. But Xbox this year also had a really cool presentation, and all they did was put 100 Xboxes on stage for no reason.
And leaves falling from the ceiling.
Yeah, like the whole time I was like, oh, when are they going to announce their Halo Battle Royale and play it on stage? They never did that, but it was still a cool look for them to have all those Xboxes on stage. They don't need to do the artsy thing. And like, I don't know if it's a budget thing for them. It could be a budget thing for them. If it is a budget thing for them, then like, I get it, but like, man, all the money combined from the last 4 years that you spent on just theatrics,
I think their ego got inflated too much, because they went from like the E3 where we got the awesome orchestra with the God of War opening, and
that
like
was great.
The multicam where you saw Corey playing alongside, so you can tell it's in real time. And then it went into more orchestra, but then had like the freakers from Days Gone hanging from the ceiling. Like, you could see the progression, and then we got in a church for Last of Us.
It got worse and worse.
It's just their ego got too big.
To the point where it started off in a church and ended up with a flute. Like,
whoa, there was a banana playing with a guitar. Okay,
and apparently there was a lot more where they walked through and it was all Ghost of Tsushima themed, but we didn't see that. Like they had this whole section where they walked through and they got like bartender was serving drinks like themed on it and stuff.
I think it's just like them. Maybe it's not understanding. I'll go with that. Why, for the past few years, they were killing it at E3. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people are pondering this decision, thinking it's a mistake, because they've looked back on the past 5 years of PlayStation at E3, and they've consistently killed it. Right? Like, every single year, like, there's something, like, from PlayStation I really want to play. Right? Like, ever since, they showed you how to, share a game. They've been able to kill it. And I think a lot of people being disconnected via time at this E3, like I could say this E3, as a person who didn't like it, I don't care at this point. Like now I don't care because I'm getting The Last of Us. Really pumped about that, right? Death Stranding, I don't know what that game is. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm pumped. I'm on board. Days Gone, sure, let's do it. And I'm excited for PlayStation, but you're right. I think I think the people really like the theatrics, and it's like no. People actually really like the game portion. Like, you know what I really would have liked to see more of? Would have loved to see more Astrobot on stage.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, dude, show us this. Don't be afraid of. You got beautiful
like Tetris
games.
Effect, man.
Yeah.
Tetris Effect,
show
like
me Beat
one,
Saber,
like
more of it.
I saw at least 2 sites give Tetris Effect Game of the Year. Like, people are excited about the games that aren't like these. Like, PlayStation first party is awesome, right? Because like they're putting out a lot of the games that third parties aren't, right? Like they're putting out God of Wars and Spider-Mans, like these games that like are big single player narrative driven experiences. and they are fantastic. But people love those, but people will take more than that. People will see Tetris Effect and freak out and be like, "Yo, that looks awesome." I saw Twin Mirror from Don't Nod at one of their days, and I was like, "I love Don't Nod. I love adventure games. Give me Twin Mirror." Like, I don't understand.
I think Concrete Genie should have been showed off at E3.
Yeah,
because that game looks dope.
Like, I understand like taking a break from PSX because you have too many shows. It's weird that didn't they just do no they did they do Paris Games Week or like the one in Europe?
That's the thing, right? Like just asking that question is too many shows.
That Gamescom, like I don't know if it was this year or last. I think it was probably last year, where like I think it was Left Alive that was revealed at the one last year. I might be making.
Was that the weird, like
from like Square Enix? I think with art from the Metal Gear guy. I might be making things up on the spot.
Was that the same year where Ghost was revealed? I think the same time.
Like
that
whatever
was a
event.
thing.
Yeah, okay, whatever event where that was. I think it was Gamescom. Yeah, I think you're right. Either that or Paris Games Week or Tokyo Game Show. I don't know. It's they have like a weird schedule as far as like, hey, we're gonna appear here this time. We're gonna appear here. I don't know who's in charge of this stuff specifically at PlayStation, but it feels like there was an error in terms of planning as far as like being like, okay, let's space these things out a little bit more.
So at the end of the day, do you think PSX is coming back, and do you think that's where because we're all kind of in the agreement here of that they're going to be back at E3. I don't think E3 is going anywhere per se, and I think if it does, I think if Sony truly just goes, we're just doing PSX from now on. I think either way, that's fine with me. Honestly, I can go either way. I don't mind. But I think what I'm reading in the room is, yes, it's coming back, just not this year. Do you think that reason is because of the PlayStation 5? It is coming out 2020. It is being revealed at PSX. I'm going to go with Kyle on this one.
Man, that would be awesome to get like the next hardware reveal at your own experience with the diehard PlayStation fans. Like, to me, if I was a PR person, that's a no-brainer. You get people who love your brand, and you're like, hey, the next iteration is coming. Here it is, along with some other like cool game announcements or like some new IPs that are been worked on or something. I think that'd be great. And I would say there's probably maybe like a 40% chance of that maybe happening this year.
Okay.
Again, I also just selfishly want it to happen because I loved PSX when I went in 2017. It was a great time. And I just want it to be back because I like the whole fan expo thing for a major video game thing like PlayStation. I think that's such a genius idea.
What about you, Blessing? Do you think this is where they reveal it and that, they'll probably be back next year?
I think PSX will be back. I don't think it'll be back soon. I think the next time we see PSX will be after the PS5 is out.
Oh, yeah?
But I do think the PS5 is out in 2020. Like, I think what it is, I think they treat it like they treated the PS4 launch, where they announced in like I think February or like early in the year they announced 2020 and then they released fall of 2020. I think they go that route because I think there's something about announcing and releasing the same year that's tantalizing and it keeps the conversation going, and that allows them to return at E3 in 2020 and be like, hey, like you saw where we announced the PlayStation and we showed off how good Death Stranding looks on the PlayStation 5 and like all this stuff, right? Here are some more games that are coming for the PS5, and they do that whole thing, right? And Last of Us 2 is the swan song, and like it's this whole ordeal. I think that's a likely situation.
Yeah, actually, now that you say a Blessing, it is weird. Maybe PSX doesn't come back in 2020, or sorry, in 2019. It comes back in 2020 as that. Hey, gang, we got some big news, and you don't want to release your PlayStation, or you don't want to reveal it during the holiday season of your last console, right? Of your last year console generation. So I think you want to kind of gain your distance away from the holiday season, rack up as many brownie points as you can, as much money as you can with your audience during the holiday season, and then go, guys, we got a big event coming 2020. We want you guys to be there.
Yeah. And even like imagine like imagine they announced the PlayStation 5 early 2020.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 5 comes out in like November, and PSX is in like December, right? And it's like, imagine riding that wave of like, hey, like everybody's here. We just released the PS5. Everybody's hyped, excited. You're getting all these games, and now like we're gonna announce a bunch of games that are coming out later down the next couple years. Like I think that could have a cool thing going. My only thing is like I don't know how they feel about like doing an event right after launching a console, because they might want to like read the tea leaves and be like, okay, like let's see what the reception is of this console. Breathe a little bit and see where talk is at, see how people are reacting, because like it'd be like if I like Xbox's shoes, for example, like if Xbox was doing Xbox XO every December, right? You wouldn't want to throw an XO the December after the Xbox One, or maybe you would, I don't know. But like that was an awkward year for them, right? 2013.
Yeah. Like, what if this thing isn't the bee's knees? Like, what if you are talking about TV for 45 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what if you like? Yeah. Like, cause you never know. But I mean, I maybe they're confident enough that they're like, hey, like right off the heels of our releasing this console, we're gonna throw a big party at PSX, and it's gonna be great. Like, I can see it happening.
Yeah, it's nuts. And at the end, I snuck through Andrew House's, Andrew House's house. I got his mail, and we got some people writing in. And I think this kind of is what defined PlayStation this year. Stephen Fontana writes, I think what defined PlayStation was their ability to continue to push their consoles regardless of being in the fifth year because of the incredibly successful first-party titles, including the Game of the Year, God of War. You know what, Steve? I like you. Mr. Moody goes, it's simple to me. It's exclusives. Eric, simple. It's the exclusives that defined it, especially God of War and Astrobot. Eric gets me, and he knows how to. He's like, listen, I'll reach out to you on Discord like you can with all these questions, or on Twitter at PS Trophy Room. But he knows how to get on each and every week, because he goes, Astrobot. There you go. You put in Bloodborne 2 next week, Eric, you're on there too. Nathan, quality, banging first-party titles, and some questionable PR decisions. I really like that one too. So a lot of people are just like, it's the games. It is. That's what spoke this year. That's what defined PlayStation. So with that, what do you guys think defined PlayStation? I'll go with you, Blessed.
I think I would agree with most of those. I think the games for sure this year was the thing. I will also say though that like I think the hidden thing, like the hidden gem of PlayStation this year has been VR. Like I think people haven't really been have started paying attention more than I think previous years. But like, God, like I got VR on Black Friday, and man, like Firewatch, and I got the Astrobot bundle.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Astrobot and Moss. I haven't started Moss yet, but I've been playing Astrobot, and Astrobot is like, it's in my top 10 of the year. It's so good.
Dude,
it's so good.
It's so good. It's so amazing.
It's so great.
Yeah.
But like VR has been killing it. Like look at the nominees at the Game Awards for best VR games. I think all those games are on PlayStation. Like Tetris Effect, Beat Saber, Astrobot, Moss, like Firewatch. Like it's killing it. Like the VR, I think had a great coming out year. At least PSVR had a great coming out year this year. And for me at least, I think that that spoke to me pretty much as like God of War and Spider-Man and Detroit did. I think both those things, side by side, created a great year for PlayStation.
Yeah. Kyle, what say you, sir?
Man, it's for me, it's why we play games. It's for the games themselves. And I think one of my favorite moments was seeing God of War win Game of the Year, because usually my favorite game of the year never wins. It never wins like the main game. I think the last one I remember is Walking Dead from Telltale. But like seeing Corey go on stage and accept that award, and especially after the night of Red Dead winning everything early on, and just like, well, we'll see where this is going type of thing. And then for a PlayStation exclusive to get it was incredible. And I also, another thing that I loved about PlayStation this year was, especially with God of War and Spider-Man, I feel like they let the actual game directors kind of shine with Brian and Corey, and getting to hear their thoughts behind the games, and letting PlayStation allowing them to like go on podcasts like Kind of Funny or Easy Allies or What's Good Games, and just have them talk in depth about the process and how much they love working on those games, I think was such a great thing. And I hope PlayStation allows that to continue because I love the deep dive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, simple. It is the games, right? I think you could say the same about Nintendo and Xbox. It's the games. I think like what you can see like Xbox define the generation is the lack of games, and when you see Sony close out this generation, it's the abundance of quality games. Like every single year, you see it over and over again. Like there's a Sony exclusive always vying for Game of the Year every year since Bloodborne, and so. I know I said it again. Bobby Miller put it there, okay?
And this year is the year where all the nominees you could play on a PlayStation.
And that's crazy.
Which is insane.
It's awesome. And I think, to me, yeah, the crescendo is God of War winning because you didn't expect it. You just thought Red Dead Redemption, Cowboy, Rockstar, they're just going to mosey on through. And it was not the case. And seeing Corey up there, and not just seeing Corey up there, but I think also, to me, the moment that really defined PlayStation for me is seeing that video of Corey when the game released, seeing all the reviews and seeing him bawl in tears is so powerful. It's better than any speech you can ever give because right then and there you're seeing someone at their most vulnerable make something they've sacrificed their life for years, tell a story that's meaningful for them, and you see that reaction. And I think, to me, that's what defined gaming this year because it was that for so long, right? Like I said it in my Bad Bit update video 2019. Gamers were so schizophrenic. We are so outraged when we hear people working 100-hour work weeks, but then when Fallout 76 isn't great, we want that game fixed in an afternoon, and you finally put a face to who those developers are. And seeing Corey be so insanely humble the way he has been, and just, you know, thanking his team, thanking his wife, thanking everyone a part of his life is amazing. And I think that, to me, is that moment where I'm just like, man, video games are freaking awesome. You know, that to me, I think defined this year more than anything. And I think also when we talk about VR, like, yeah, dude, like we're starting to get the whisperings of like, dude, PSVR is killing it. Like I got games that like I'm switching off between Astrobot, Tetris Effect, Beat Saber, and I'm gonna be trying to platinum Moss this week. Like I got things to do in VR I've never had before. Like this is the time. This is the time to play PlayStation. That's the thing that gets me so excited. So with that, last one. You guys hopeful for 2019 when it comes to PlayStation? Do you think they're going to continue to kill it with their game lineup? I know we just kind of know. We know Dreams is coming. We know Days Gone is coming. Maybe Ghost of Tsushima. Who knows? What do you guys think? Are you guys hopeful for the future of PlayStation 2019? I'll go with you, Kyle.
Yeah, I have no reason not to be hopeful.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different type of hopeful because this year, yeah, we knew God of War and Spider-Man and Detroit were coming. Right now, it's really only Days Gone and a beta for Dreams. So I'm like more excited for Days Gone than most people. So just that alone, I'm excited to play. But yeah, PlayStation's where I game. So whatever comes out, I'm gonna play and I'm gonna love. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Blessing, what about you? Close out the show for us. What do you think? Hopeful?
I feel like I'm curious more than anything. Kind of in a similar way as Kyle, because like as far as what we know, right? Days Gone is coming out this year. We have a date for that, and then the Dreams beta, presumably Dreams, is coming out this year. I would go as far as to say that I really think Ghost of Tsushima is a lock-in for this year. And I would even go to say I would go as far as to say that I think Concrete Genie is for sure probably going to come out this year.
Yeah.
That I'm not as sure of, but I'm gonna throw my hat down for those 4 games.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about this year for PlayStation, at least yet. I think for me, Days Gone is a game that I'm not looking forward to as much based on what I've seen from it and based on like the way they've talked about it and all this stuff. Like it. like I forget the name of this. I think it's Ben Studio, right?
Sony Ben,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Sony
definitely
Ben.
feels like the redheaded stepchild. Of PlayStation.
Yeah, for sure. And like I know it's Ben's studio for it's their first game, I think, of this nature and of this scope. And so like I give them leeway of like, hey, like you guys do like how many kill zones did Guerrilla need to make in order to get to Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Like, not that anything's wrong with Killzone, but like, like there is a build up to like some of these masterpieces that are coming out, right? And so like I don't need Days Gone to come out and be a 10. Like I'm hoping for it to come out and be an 8 and be great, right? And if I can get that, then I'm like, cool, awesome.
And then they make a siphon filter game like they were supposed to.
Exactly. And like Ghost of Tsushima, I'm cautiously optimistic about also. Like I think it looks really cool. I think it looks like it could be amazing, but it's not something I'm necessarily like. It's not something necessarily up my alley. It's not something that's necessarily like blowing me away just yet. But like from what was shown at E3, it looks exciting. It looks like it could be really cool. But yeah, I think I'm more so this year looking forward to third parties. Weirdly enough, and this is like one of the first times where like I'm in a year where I'm like, I can't wait to see what the third parties put out, because like I feel like in the last few years, like first party, on like both like PlayStation and like Nintendo side have been killing. Even like Xbox for at points, like Cuphead was like one that I was really looking forward to. Cuphead is like one of my favorite games this generation. But this year I'm like, hey, I want to see what Jump Force looks like. I want to see what Mortal Kombat 11 is like. I want to see what Devil May Cry is like. And there's a lot of third-party games around. The Outer Worlds is the game I'm looking forward to most this year. Like, I want to see what these games look like, because I think third-party is stepping up in a way that where they haven't stepped up in previous years. And so that's kind of where my hopes lie this year.
Especially like within the first 3 months of the year.
Oh yeah,
there's
Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, Anthem.
Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2. Yeah, like there's a ton of stuff early on in the year.
Which, like, it's crazy.
It's been confirmed, guys. It's been confirmed.
Portal 3.
PlayStation.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think you guys are right. I think this year's exciting. I don't know. Blessing, I'm on the same boat. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I'm hopeful. And the audacity to hope. I own that book. But yeah, it's. I think I'm hopeful for this year. Like games this generation, constantly better and better and better. Like it's just like every year it's just like we had The Witcher, right? And then after The Witcher we were not satisfied. We went Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it's just like the Overwatch, Uncharted. Like there's so many.
Inside, like legit, like game after game. Like there have been multiple games of the generation. This generation, it's been awesome. Between like the ones you just mentioned too, like Witcher 3, Overwatch, Breath of the Wild, like even ones like Metal Gear Solid 5, which I feel like most people have forgotten. Like Metal Gear Solid 5 came out like that same year as Witcher 3. That game was incredible. Like there have been a lot of games. Like even this year or this last year, God of War is another one. Like it's crazy. Spider-Man,
Red Dead Redemption 2. It's nuts.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah,
like, one of my games in the generation at least.
There
like
you go. Like so many. Mario
Cuphead.
Odyssey.
Knack
2.
Like yeah,
exactly, man.
The Order 1886.
So with that, this is by far the longest episode we've done. So let's close this out.
You're welcome.
Blessing, where can they find you and the people over there at said website?
You can, of course, find me on OKBeast.com, where we put out articles, videos, and podcasts. You can find me on Twitter at Blessing Jr. That's at Blessing Jr. Feel free to follow me. I am very friendly on Twitter, I would like to think. I don't really put out that much negativity, or at least I don't try to. And our content from OKBeast is pretty decent. And so there you go.
Absolutely.
You sound like you're short at the end. Their content's amazing. Go over there, OKBeast.
I for one recommend go watch their video essay on Celeste, because that is one of my favorite games of the year, and that's one of my favorite videos you guys have ever done. So
please do.
Yeah.
Amazing. Kyle, is there anything you want to pimp out today as well?
Sure. Yeah, you can follow me at WhoDatNinja73 on Twitter. Send me the PSN friend request, same name. You can find my show all about the kind of funny community called Best Friends Talk Funny at BFS Talk Funny on Twitter and podcast services everywhere. I should have Joe's episode out before the end of the week.
Yeah. Right, cool.
So
take your time.
Get
Kyle.
ready for that.
Take your time. And with that, guys, you can catch this podcast, The Trophy Room, PlayStation Podcast, made by Play every single Thursday on iTunes, on SoundCloud, anywhere there's an RSS feed, you can find us there. Enjoy us. Also, we're there on YouTube as well, youtube.com/just put it in the search, Bad Bit Games. We're going to be changing things up at Bad Bit. We're going to be doing video essays every Monday. We're going to do In This Week in PlayStation each and every Friday, which is a show I'm very excited to talk about. And and then we're going to be doing more news and impressions. So 2019, I'm pretty excited for it. I'm not going to lie. 2019, I think, is the year of the Bad Bit. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the content we're putting out. And also just the little things like the thumbnails have got me very pumped for what holds for us. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation.